Hey, welcome to the conversation that's as diverse as the dogs that we adore. This is Gun Dogs and Guard Dogs, ultimate podcast dedicated to talking sense about dogs with Les Graham and Ross McCarthy. They work with all breeds of dog, but one specialises in gun dogs and the other prefers guard dogs. No flashy trends or social media hype here, just tried and true knowledge that stands the test of time. They bring you valuable insights and honest conversations about the social predator you share your home with. So here we go. About 45 minutes of gun dogs, guard dogs, good dogs, some maybe not so good dogs, and a dash of gossip.
Here we are again. Here we find ourselves, last of the season.
It is. It is the last of season 4. Can you believe it's season 4? Good grief.
Season 4, I know. Talking all that rubbish for all that length of time.
Speak for yourself, Blondie.
Yes. We're having a little break, aren't we, before season 5 starts?
Yes.
We've got some nice guests on season 5 as well, haven't we, that lined up.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not going to tell you who, but we have.
I know, and I'm going to be asking. I've got a couple of people who I really want to invite as well. So hopefully it'll just be all guests. We'll just be sitting in the background listening.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, no, it's good to talk to you. It's good to chat to you. So what are we chatting about today, Mr. McCall?
Well, today we were going to talk about dogs, funnily enough.
No, really? You want to think it was a dog podcast?
You think?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, not always, is it? We're going to talk about behaviour clients and interesting cases or funny cases or strange cases or scary cases or whatever cases, so that we can put people off ever doing this occupation.
That is mean. It's a good occupation to get
Great
into.
occupation, it's good fun. Has its moments.
It does. Sorry, I pulled a face because my screen went a bit crackly, but it stopped.
That's right. I'm used to your funny faces.
I know. I pull them all the time, don't I? Got some crackers coming up.
What stories have you got? Have you got a story that springs to mind that
I've got 3. I've got 4, but I've got 3 because we're going to do 3 each one.
Okay, well, that's the rules you just told me, yeah.
No, you said it last time. You said make sure you think of 3.
Oh, is that my rule?
3 stories that'll make your hair curl.
Okay.
Or scary ones or your worst ones. Then we'll do 3 each. That's what you said.
Oh, did I say that? I thought that was a rule you just introduced. Okay, fine. I've got 3 in my head.
Have you got 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to know about the one where you were sitting on the curb.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, as a part of this job, you never know. When you're visiting people in their homes, you never really know what you're going to walk into, do you?
No.
And even though you get your forms in advance and everything else, you still don't really know. So I went to see a basset hound, which is quite unusual. A basset hound in a garden flat in Chiswick for toilet training issues. So the dog wasn't toilet trained. So, I went in and literally the smell nearly knocked me off my feet. The smell of like ammonia was awful because the dog had been weeing on the sofas and all sorts.
Was it just weeing or was it pooing as well?
Just weeing.
Just weeing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I say just weeing. I mean, there must have been gallons of it. I mean, it just.
Well, you know what I mean. It could have been worse. Could have been peeing and pooing everywhere.
Well, I don't know if that'd been worse or not. It was horrific. So I went in, sat on the sofa. I think I was sitting
after it peed on it.
Well, I think I was sitting on a towel or something she'd put down. So, which is fine because, I don't mind. I can wash my clothes when I get home. That's all right. But I was sitting there talking to her and it was burning my nose. The ammonia was burning the inside of my nose. And then, of course, I started to try and hold my breath. And then I thought, well,
your eyes were running.
Yeah. And I thought, well, I can't breathe. I didn't really know what to say. So I just said to her, actually, the smell of ammonia is quite strong in here. And I said, you probably can't smell it, So I said, do you mind, could we go and sit in the garden? Because it was a nice day. And she said, no.
Oh.
So I said, oh, okay. Can we go out the front then? So literally went and sat on the curbstone at the front of her house and did the whole consult sitting on the curb.
Oh my God, why couldn't you sit in the garden?
No idea. No idea. She just said no.
So you sat on the curb?
Sat on the curb outside the house in Chiswick on the street with my clipboard. Yeah. And did the whole thing out there. I couldn't go back into the house. It was horrendous.
And what did you do with the dog? Because otherwise this is going to be a really short story and we're going to need at least 6 each.
Oh, right. Well, I've got loads of stories. No, is it? Well, I've got some really short stories. But I sent it to the vet first of all because I thought there must be a medical. I mean, peeing on the sofa and I mean, it was. Well, it must have just peed everywhere. It was just horrific. But yeah, I sent it to the vet. Apparently, it was fine, and yeah, started crate training it. But I mean, the smells around the house and the repetition of it made it very difficult.
That's awful.
I don't know how she ever cleaned. I mean, yeah, I don't know how she ever cleaned that up. You what?
How or if she ever cleaned?
Either how or if, I don't know. I don't know. But that was horrendous. I don't think I've had any other smelly ones. Do you know what I mean? I don't think. Have you had smelly ones?
No.
No.
Thankfully.
I know, that's all. That just makes you gag, doesn't it? It's like,
I have had a cup of tea where the tea bag's bust, and that's made me gag.
Oh, did that make you gag?
Oh,
No.
made me gag just thinking about it, actually.
Oh, did it? Shall I tell you, or shall I save it for later, my coffee one?
Well, you've started, you might as well go for it.
All right, I'll tell you my coffee.
This one doesn't count though, you've still got another 2 after this, okay?
Okay, fine. Well, this is my coffee experience. So I went to see a lady again in another flat in West London, had a German Shepherd that was chasing its tail.
Okay.
So I went round to see this lady, and she was quite a character. She worked for the local police, and she dropped the C-bomb after I'd been there for about 2 minutes.
Your favourite word?
My favourite word. Never heard it in a consult before. So yeah, she was quite funny. So anyway, she said, "Would you like a coffee?" So I said, "Yes, please, white with 1 sugar." That's how I used to have my coffee. So
I remember this. I know what's coming.
Made the coffee, brought it over. I carried on chatting, getting some history about the dog and the problems and everything else. Took a sip of this coffee, and I'd never tasted anything like it. It was vile. It was awful. And I sort of swallowed, the mouthful. And then it was so disgusting. It made all my mouth, when you get all that extra saliva, do you know what I mean?
Yes, before you're sick.
Yeah, literally, I had all this saliva in my mouth and I was trying to carry on talking. I thought, what the hell? Must be some kind of chicory coffee or some like camp coffee or something people drink. I thought, well, I can't drink any of that. That was awful. So I carried on, left the coffee on the side, still feeling a bit, not quite right. And then the next minute she obviously took a sip of her coffee, spat it out all over the worktop, all over the floor. And said, "Oh, it's fucking gravy." And yes, she'd mistakenly made Bisto with milk and sugar instead of Nescafe.
Oh my God.
So she was amazed how polite I was that I didn't gob it all over the room.
You can tell that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I don't know quite what I'd do now, but yeah. Well, I'd
probably do a C-bomb.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely go say, "Can I use your bathroom so I can wash my mouth out?" Because that is rancid. But no, I was very polite and just got on, but made my throat dry and it was awful.
Awful. The one like that, it wasn't a behaviour consult. It was when we were saying goodbye in New Zealand. We went round to Noel, who mentored me. We went round to his for dinner, and we're sitting in the garden, and like that, I had a coffee. And I put a couple of spoons of sugar in because I used to have sugar in my coffee then. And I took a mouthful of it and I'd put salt in. I'd put like two teaspoons of salt in my coffee.
Oh my God.
And I took a mouthful and I kind of went, Noel burst out laughing. He says, I was watching you do that. I wanted to see what you're going to do. What a start. You sat and you watched me put
Oh my
in my
God.
coffee and then sat there really quietly with a straight face waiting for me to hit the first mouthful.
Oh my God.
I know. That's what
That's
he was like.
that's not friendship, is it?
No, he wanted to see how I reacted under pressure. It's like, how
Mm.
polite are you?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Are you going to swallow or are you going to spit?
Oh God. Oh, hideous.
Oh, we both know a bit about us there, don't we? Both swallowed. Swallowed and was polite.
Is that a sign of politeness, swallowing, not spitting? Oh my goodness. I've got a rule now before we go down that route. I don't eat or very often have coffee in people's houses now. I don't act like if they say, do you want a
No.
biscuit or a piece of cake, I don't.
Oh,
Never.
not cake. No, don't have cake. Always talk to you when your mouth's full and you choke trying to say something.
No, I did that once. I made a comment because she was baking a cake, this woman, and the house smelled, and I said, oh, it smells lovely. And she said, oh, if you're any good, you can have a bit. So the consultation, she gave me this great big
And
chunk
did you
of
get a bit of cake or did you have to leave without any?
no, great big chunk of fruit cake. And of course, you know, we'd been out and done all the stuff with the dog. So then it was time for me to sort of talk to her. So I'm trying to talk and polish off this doorstep of cake to kind of get rid of it. Do you know what horrible? And I've had chocolate biscuits melting all around my fingers and, you know, so no, I don't eat or often I'll just have water now.
Good plan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no. And some of the houses I've been to, you don't really want to drink.
You don't want to drink out of the cups, do you?
No. I had a glass of water not long ago and it was cloudy.
Gummy.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, not yes. The adventures.
If you're listening to this and not watching it, you're missing some great facial expressions from Ross.
I'm still thinking about that gravy.
Oh no, I haven't had that issue other than the tea bag busting and not knowing that's the only icky.
Yeah, that's not pleasant, is it?
No, fishing hairs out, fish dog hairs out your tea and
oh, I don't mind dog hairs.
Oh no, oh god.
The other ones.
Well, depends. Yeah, I think human hairs are worse on those. Like, okay, that's quite short and curly.
It's horrible. I don't. Oh, it's like when you go swimming, you get some hair around your fingers.
Oh, I don't go swimming. I don't do swimming. Don't do that nonsense.
Get hair around your finger on it. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my behaviour consults.
I think it was funny but scary. I had this little Staffie cross that was barking at people on the towpath. And it didn't
live on a boat?
Yeah, it didn't enter my head that I was going to have to get on a boat. And
you didn't know?
No, I didn't know. She said she gave me her address and she says, oh, quite difficult to find. I'll meet you like on the towpath where the stile is. And it was like, oh, okay. And
well, the address would have been like Bella the River or something, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but we're talking like posh Wiltshire here, Ross. I mean, my address just had a house name and my address was just October House, Collingbourne, Kingston.
Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah.
So posh. So I turned up, and it was like, oh, okay. Her dog barked at me as it would, and it's like, right, okay, let's go and have a look at your phone. And we got to. Now I don't know which one it is, whether it was a barge or a longboat. It's the one that sits deep in the water. Because one of them sits up out the water and one of them sits like really deep in the water. So you're like sitting inside of a bucket. It was that one.
Yeah, I think a barge is like, yeah.
The
canal boat. It's just a canal boat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a canal boat. One of them sits deeper than the other. And so we got there and I was like looking at the houses at the end of the towpath thinking I was going to one of these houses. And she says, oh, this is it. And I went, oh. And there was literally a scaffolding pole, like plank, just one single scaffolding plank going from the towpath onto the boat. And I don't do boats. I don't do boats. I don't like them. And if I can't see the bottom of, like, you know, if you look into water and you can't see the bottom, it completely freaks me out.
Yeah.
And like when I was windsurfing years ago, I wouldn't jump off the windsurfer. They had to come push me off, even though it was only waist high. It was like I couldn't see the bottom. So I had to go across this gangplank to the barge, and we're sat in there, and we sat down, and where we were sitting, like the water was lapping like roughly shoulder height. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was awful. I couldn't concentrate. So we then had to,
It's like a submarine.
it was awful. It was awful. I mean, it was really nice inside. It was beautifully done. And then we sort of did some stuff with the dog, and I thought, shit, I've got to get off the boat now and go and do something with the dog. So I had to go out, get off, back across the gangplank, do stuff with the dog, and then we had to go back across it again to sit and go through everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, the sweat was just running down my back. It was awful.
Oh God.
It was awful. I was shaking like a leaf. It was awful.
Oh,
And the dog was great. Dog was really easy. But oh my God, it was one of the...
You should have sat on the curb outside. You should have sat on the towpath. Not getting in that, would it? Yeah.
I should have really. It's that politeness, isn't it? It's like, okay, I've got to see what this dog's like, see what the relationship's like in the house. And it was the scariest one that I've done. It was nothing to do with the dogs. It's just it was weird. Awful.
I did one. I've done one on a canal, but on a canal boat with a wolf dog. Of course, the dog was huge, and the little boat, you haven't got a lot of room with you to move.
No,
get about. But no, I didn't mind that. But I don't like. I go to some like apartment blocks, like big apartment blocks in London, and they're so like security and everything else. So like sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll get like to park in the garage or whatever. Like, and then you have to get in a lift from the garage, and it's all, you know what I mean? It's not just like walking through a door. It's all like security doors and stuff. So you have to buzz to get in, and they come and meet you with a card, and then you have to go up in a lift, and you can only use the lift in a card. And it's, you know what I mean? You think, well, I can't get out of here because I haven't got a card, and I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. And the building's so big.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're like going up to like level 15 or something. And it's just, they're just a nightmare, those buildings. They're awful. They're really posh. Do you know what I mean? They're really like kind of like a hotel, but not. They're horrible.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They phone up, they say, you know, if you go to reception or something, you know, you've got a visitor. Then they send you up in the concierge, sends you up in a lift, and you have to go where he tells you you're going. Do you know what I mean? You can't get out.
It's like when we did the place in Salisbury, and you have to wait at the keep house, and then there's barriers to get in. You can't get out until they let you out with a barrier, and it's a maze. The house is a maze. And
well, I got locked in. I remember I went to see a bloke with 5 European Dobermans.
Wow.
And he lived, yes, that was a lovely day out. That was, I have to tell you. But he lived in a house with like, it was in London, but with electric gates. So I drove in, and then obviously the gates shut, and I couldn't get out, obviously, until they let me out, could I? Do you know what I mean? So I was kind of felt a bit trapped. I thought, you can't just flee, can you? If you've just got a front door to get through and run, you can. If you're locked in, you can't get out, can you?
No, that made me think of what we used to teach when we did the master classes, you know, about making sure people know where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was it Lumplu? Susie? Was it Susie?
Yeah, Susie Lamplugh. And Susie Lamplugh Trust, in it, they've got some cool information.
Yeah, about staying safe and making sure people know where you are when you go for your consults, because you just never know, do you? And because I always keep a diary here, so that if anything does happen, Kenny knows where I am, like what time I'm supposed to be there, what time I'm leaving, and addresses and everything.
No, it's good. You can get lots of apps and stuff now, can't you, to kind of so that you know people know.
Yeah, it was a bit safe, and because we tested that. Oh God, do you remember we tested it? It went off when we were on the course. I was showing it on the course.
Yeah, I don't.
And Kenny phoned me, and it was like, "Is everything okay?" Oh yeah, oops, sorry, I'm teaching. It's just a test.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, it's good. There's a lot of apps around, like safety ones, aren't there? But yeah, you never know. But yeah, getting locked in is never fun.
So come on then, give me another one.
Well, talking about that, I'll give you. This wasn't on my menu, but I've just thought of it now. I had a weird. I had a phone call from a bloke. He wasn't sure whether he was going to. He had a dog that lived in the States with his daughter, and he wasn't sure about. He was in the UK, and so he wasn't sure about whether he was going to bring this dog over to the UK. What kind of he'd need, whether it would fit in with his lifestyle and everything else. So he wanted a consult to discuss it. So I was like, well, I'll just do it on the phone because you haven't got a dog. I don't need to come and see it. You haven't got it, have you? So we could just chat. So, oh, no, I don't want that. I'd want proper, face-to-face appointment. So I thought, well, work's work, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So that was weird. Off I went to do this consult without a dog with this bloke. And when you think in your head, you're just like, could be someone from school with a grudge, or do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, just need to trap him
behind the door with a machete.
Yeah, just need to trap him in this house, and then we can, get rid of him, or dispatch him. To use your Gundog term.
Too much fire in the blood.
Well, I know. So I was a bit like, but I thought, obviously that's not going to happen. That's fine. So I went round there. And I did think it was a bit strange. Anyway, the big grand house, and it was a flat I was going to. So I rang on the buzzer, and then the door just went, when you push it.
Oh, yeah.
So there was no hello on the intercom or anything like that. Yeah. So I pushed the door, went up, walked up to the top floor, and got to his flat, and the door was open.
Oh.
So I'm like,
body in the sitting room, weren't you?
Yeah, so all of everything about me is screaming, just go home, mate, just don't bother with this one. Turn around, go back downstairs, get out of it. But no, so I walked through the door, hello. Yeah, and it was fine. It was absolutely fine, quite normal. But
that was a bit of an anticlimax.
Well, what do you think happened? I'm still here.
I don't know. I don't know, embellish it.
Alive. No, it was just a bit of a weird thought. No, it was completely fine. We had videos of the dog and stuff that he played on his big widescreen TV and all that. So.
And what did you do? Did you bring it over?
I don't know what he did in the end.
Okay.
That's my story.
Wasn't very scary.
Well, you weren't there, were you?
Well, okay. Was it scary?
Could have been. It was weird. It was just weird, when just all these things just happen like that. The no hello on the intercom, just the buzz, and then having the door left open. The main entrance is very weird.
Mm-hmm. It was a funny one. This one isn't on my list. It was a funny one where I went to see this. He got me out. He had a couple of gun dogs, and he got me out, and his wife didn't want me there. And she was deliberately doing all of these things. She had the dogs, these huge gun dogs, up on her lap.
Uh-huh.
And sitting at the dining table. And then she went outside, and she stayed outside for half an hour talking to the neighbour, knowing I was waiting for her to come back in.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, I left.
Oh, did you?
Remember, that was one of the ones that I walked out on.
Oh, because it's home.
Yeah, I can't help you. If you're not gonna do me the courtesy of actually being in the room with me and talking to me about your dogs when you're paying me to do it, then I'm out of here. Can't work with you. I'd recommend somebody else.
What does she say? Bye.
Yeah. But it was awful. It's really disrespectful.
It's very uncomfortable, isn't it? I did a consult once with a Weimaraner where I stood up the whole time, stood up in the dining room, and the wife, she was out. She wasn't interested. She was off doing her thing, washing and,
Yeah, I've had that.
vacuuming and stuff, and I just stood and talked to the bloke for 2 hours without, would you like a drink? Would you like a seat? Nothing.
I've had that where I've chatted to the husband and the wife has continued doing housework and stuff and got a bit shitty with me, and yeah.
It's strange. She wasn't shitty, but she just wasn't interested.
Oh no, she was pretty shitty.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's strange. No, it's very uncomfortable if you're not wanted, isn't it? If they don't want you there.
Yeah, if half of them want you, because half of them can see a problem with the dog, and they want you out and they want your help to sort it out, and the other part are treating it like a baby. and don't want any help at all, and they can't see the problem. And so
No.
there's immediate conflict, isn't there?
So it's strange. It's strange. I always think in situations like, I wonder what their relationship's like. Do you know what I mean? Have a funny, you know what I mean? If that was my partner that was, you'd be like, how dare you treat people like that I've invited into the house?
I know.
Don't do that. But, people.
I mean, the guy with the gun dogs actually apologised to me when she was at the room. He says, "Oh, I'm really sorry for the way my wife's behaving."
Rehome her, get rid of her a bit sharpish.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, very weird.
Amazing.
Very weird. You do. I see a lot now whereby, because people work from home quite a bit, don't they? So I see a lot where I'll be talking to the wife or whatever primarily, but the husband will pop in and out because he's working upstairs or whatever, which is kind of is what it is, but not very helpful, is it? Just have someone pop in for 5 minutes and go and then pop back for another 5 minutes.
And then the one you do a catch up. Oh, I missed that. What was that? What was that about? What are you talking about?
No, so don't worry, I'll send you a report. You get back to
What
work.
scary ones have you had? Like dog scary?
Dog scary. Well, probably the most recent. I went to see a Cane Corso.
Oh, scary looking. Did you have cropped ears?
Big dog. No, it didn't have cropped ears. No.
Because you had a Cane Corso on your course recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
With cropped ears. That jumped up. I think it had a muzzle on as well. It jumped up and I went, ooh, that looks a bit scary.
Yeah, she was sweet, actually. She was a very sweet dog on that one.
You can understand why that's probably going to be the next one, though, can't you?
Yeah, well, something's got to be next, isn't it? Because people are idiots.
Something's got to be next. Sorry, go on. Went to see Cane Corso.
So, spoke to this.
Was it a canny dog? Was it a canny dog?
I don't know. I don't speak that language. So I spoke to her on the phone. So it was aggression to people I was going for.
Oh.
So I said to her, muzzle train it. So she sent her form back. And I can't quite remember what she'd managed to annoy me somehow. I think she hadn't returned her form or something. So she managed to annoy me slightly already. And then I said to her the day before I was going, have you muzzle trained the dog? She said, oh no, we bought one, but we haven't got around to doing anything with it yet. And I read the form and I looked and I thought reading through the form, the dog doesn't look too bad. So I thought I could go anyway without the muzzle conditioning because we never used to muzzle train dogs before we went. So I thought, well, I'll just go anyway. But because she had annoyed me, and now the second time she'd annoyed me because she hadn't done the muzzle conditioning. So I said, well, I'm not coming. You'll have to reschedule the appointment because I'm not coming without you muzzling the dog. Thank God I did. Because I went like a week later when she'd done the muzzle training and went in and the dog was barking. There was a couple of dogs in the house. And so I said, I'll let her go then. She came up and like sort of sniffed me and stuff. And that was kind of all right. Then got up on the sofa next to me, which of course is my pet hate with dogs on sofas anyway, isn't it? And then just went bash with the muzzle into the back of my head.
Wow.
So had she not been muzzle trained, I'd have lost my scalp.
Jeez.
So and that's kind of reminds you to follow the rules, doesn't it? And use best practice.
Follow the rules.
And stay safe. Yeah, that would have been really nasty.
That would have been horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, we have had.
It would have been under the hospital.
Sorry?
It would have been a hospital job. It would be horrific.
It would be. I mean, we've had friends that have went to do behaviour consults and they haven't had forms filled in or anything before, and they've been nailed and they've been put in hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, it has its dangers.
Good for you, Ross. For standing your ground.
It's only because she had annoyed me. So otherwise I'd have probably gone, but luckily I didn't. But it's, people, like I said, reading through the form, the incidents and stuff that they'd had, didn't seem that bad. But obviously when you got there, the truth comes out a lot more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like that dog that I rehomed. Do you remember that? It was a Rottweiler cross Springer Spaniel. And that was rehomed. My colleague took it and then subsequently found out later that it was a lot worse than they'd said it was really, really dangerous.
It's like that that little Schnauzer I saw for barking all the time.
Yeah.
On the phone, I was literally holding the phone away from my ear because this dog was barking all the time. And that's what she wanted help with. And I can't remember the guy who, oh, let's name names. Who was the guy who said he was a behaviourist and he wasn't?
Oh, Jez Rose.
Thank you, Jezreel. So he'd seen the dog and he'd done the usual, just, feed the dog to stop it from barking crap.
Yeah.
And when people come into the house, get them to feed the dog as it comes into the house. Oh yeah, that'll really calm it down when it thinks food's on the way. So anyway, this dog got worse and worse and worse. And I went round to see it. I mean, it was a sweet little dog. I went round and we sat there and it was just, yep, 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 yep. Classic Schnauzer. Do you know how they do that funny little yodely thing?
Yeah, sweet. I like Schnauzers.
They are sweet, but not when they don't draw breath between yodels. And so I said to her, look, I can't concentrate. Can I stick a little bark collar on it? It'll just spray air when it barks. So we did that and it sprayed the dog twice and the dog shut up.
Yeah.
18 months she'd been putting up with this dog barking. So she had Jez Rose out a couple of times. And it just went laying in its bed and shut up. And it was like, yeah, beauty. So we had recover. And
coffee, not gravy, right?
It wasn't gravy. It was no kick up tea. She was really happy that the dog wasn't barking. And the son, who I think he was autistic. I can't remember, but he was older. Do you know what I mean? Older but young, if you know what I mean. And he bent down to pick something up, and the dog attacked him. And it's like, what's going on here? And he says, oh, it always bites me. And it's like, whoa, what do you mean it always bites you? Oh yeah, well, if I drop anything, it bites me. If my mum goes out the room, it bites me. So this boy was the dog's whipping boy, in effect.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't on the phone because they were used to it. It was just what the dog did.
Yeah.
There was the barking because they couldn't watch the telly and they couldn't talk to mates and they couldn't go on the phone. That was the issue.
Yeah.
And we were just about to leave, and I said, look, I can't leave your dog attacking your son. Like every time he moves, he's attacking your son. Would you like me to deal with this as well? But it was just...
What did they say? I'm not bothered, ask him.
Well, I mean, the young lad says, oh yeah, do you want to see what she does? And he was just like, oh, and she box me then. And the dog attacked him and she boxed me then as well. Oh, and she boxed me then. Let me show you what she does in the kitchen.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, this boy was just getting repeatedly bit because he wanted to show me how bad his dog was.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's quite amazing what people put up with. And I was having a conversation yesterday about it, just how people, I think because things happen, it's kind of sneaks up on you incrementally. Yeah. And you start to learn to avoid different situations and triggers with the dog, or, you just adapt your life. It kind of, happens gradually. And it's what people put up with is quite amazing. Do you remember that client I had with the Cocker Spaniel that was attacking him constantly? He lived in a flat, and
Yes.
all these stories are in flats, aren't they? I do go and see
They're all
people
in
in
flats.
houses as well. But yeah, he lived in a basement flat, and Cocker Spaniel that was just aggressive towards him.
Yes.
And I went round and sat on the sofa, and the dog came and joined me, like they do. Came and sat next to me on the sofa. He said, would you like a drink? And before I could answer him, the dog just launched off the sofa and attacked him.
Wow.
When I was there. And just, talking to him, the dog was 5. He'd been putting up with it for years, constantly, just being randomly attacked whenever, there were triggers, and then it would just do it because it wanted to. And amazing.
People do turn into a bit of whipping boys for the dogs, don't they?
Yeah, well, this bloke was lovely because he had hired like what he called his housekeeper, but really she was there just to sort of be there with the dog when he was out. So, really loved his dog and everything, and that's what he got in return. It's
interesting, is it? Do you remember the chocolate lab and the border terrier that I went to see? I went to see them because they were both dog aggressive and they wanted to bring them together. the parents and the
Oh, yeah, rings a
kids.
bell.
Yeah, they'd built a house together and they wanted like to live in different parts of the house. And I mean, like that, it was dog aggression that I was going to see. And it was before I'd got the aluminium case that you introduced me to. And the biggest thing was the belief system of the owner. He thought you couldn't have two dogs living together unless they were in the same litter, so they'd never met. And so I had to get through the belief system. And then when we brought the Labrador in, thing went for me. I only had like a little clipboard in my hand, and it really full on. It's like, okay, I know where my bladder is now. Thanks very much. But like that, it crept up because it was a puppy formed puppy, and it had wrecked hips, and it had an operation on its hips when it was really young. And they used to have it on the settee with them so they could cuddle it. And then it got to the point where if they moved, it growled. So the puppy learned to stop them coming near it to growl. And then it built up from a growl to a bite to the point where if they forgot to put chairs on the settee when they left the room, as they opened the door, the dog would launch itself off the settee. I mean, it had pulled like so many door handles off trying to attack them when they were coming in the room. And this wasn't on the form. There was no mention because it wasn't an issue to them. They'd learned to manage it. So they knew how to manage this dog by, keeping the toys out of the way and putting dining chairs upside down on the settee, and never shutting the door when the dog was in the room. So they had all of these like coping strategies with the dog. So they didn't bother mentioning it on the phone that the dog was really aggressive to people.
It's amazing. People don't. I suppose they just don't really think of it. They just live their life like they live that, I'm just going to the loo. I better put the dining chair on the sofa.
You just adapt, don't you? And it is like that. It's like people just they come up with coping mechanisms to get through the day with their dogs, don't they?
Yeah, you see it a lot, don't you? Where they just literally adapt their whole lifestyle to fit in with the dog.
Yeah.
More common than not, actually, particularly with aggression, isn't it? If the dog is aggressive in certain situations, then avoid, whatever triggers you can.
Yeah, yeah.
And then get in a mess. I had emergency boarding case the other day came in, spaniel.
Okay.
For because it was the owners were away and it had attacked their dog sitter.
Wow.
So I had to go and get
What
it.
breed?
Spaniel.
There's a lot, isn't there? There's a lot of aggression in spaniels at the minute.
Spaniels and cockapoos are a nightmare. It's a shame, and the spaniels. I mean, it always has been in cocker spaniels.
Always. And yet, if you look at the gun dog forums, it's like, oh, working cockers aren't aggressive.
No, I see. I mean, when they're bad, they're bad. I mean, this one, I went and picked it up on last Wednesday morning. I had it for 4 days. But yeah, when they're bad, aren't they? Spaniels can be dreadful.
Because we've bred them now. We've bred them to like never give up.
Yeah.
You don't want a gun dog that's not going to go into the brambles for a bird.
No. But you do want one that's not going to rip your throat out.
Not keep coming back from after it's bit you once. You keep coming back and bite again.
No, and often they do, don't they? They intensify.
Yeah.
If you go back at them, they come back at you with more intensity. But so
do Labradors.
Yeah. So do Corsos. That's probably the worst case, like that I've seen, which I think a lot of our students have seen, which you've seen, that Springer Spaniel that came into the centre, to the offices for aggression towards dogs, and was like one of the most people aggressive dogs you've ever seen in your life, just in a complete frenzy, ripping padded arms off and all sorts of stuff. Luckily, she came to us and didn't go to her home, because that would have ended up probably in life-changing injuries, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If you'd gone in there under the assumption that you were going to see a aggressive dog and you encountered that, then that would be a mess. because you wouldn't be,
You wouldn't have the appropriate equipment with you, would you?
No, and perhaps you might talk about muzzle conditioning the dog because you were going to do some testing with other dogs or whatever, but you wouldn't suggest that it was muzzled when you arrived, would you? Because why would you? There's no need. But no, I not long ago went to see a Labrador, and I told them, again, that was aggressive to people. I told them muzzle train it. Got there, walked in the house, and the dog comes out, no muzzle. I said, "Oh, did you do your muzzle train?" "Yeah, I've done that."
Well, get the bloody muzzle on the dog.
Why did you think I suggested it, mate? So we could sit and have a look at the muzzle. No, no, people. Wouldn't you think?
I know.
Yeah, wouldn't you think you'd just put it on?
I know. The scariest one that I worked with actually was when I did it with the wolves. You can't say to them, "Well, can you muzzle condition the wolf before I come out?" And
no,
I did a consult with the Arctics through it, and the Conservation Trust, because they were being really naughty. The youngsters, the 18 months, the Arctic pack that they had.
Yeah,
they were luring the novice wolf handlers into the enclosure off the apron. Can you remember they had the apron, then they had the kennels, and they used to bring the wolves in to feed them.
Apron? What do you mean apron?
Concrete apron.
What's an apron?
It's called an. Oh, okay, it's a horsey thing. Okay, so do you know how you've got a concrete bed for the kennels to go on?
About a base of
yes.
Concrete.
Right, that strip of concrete in front of the kennels is normally called an apron.
Right.
Okay.
Not a path. Okay.
Well, it could be a path anyway. They didn't bring them in. Okay, they didn't bring them up into the kennels.
Right.
And what was happening is the wolves were luring them. The wolves would messing about, playing keep me away. How they do when they do a recall.
Yeah.
And the novice handlers were going into the enclosures to get the wolves, which was really dangerous.
Yeah.
And they brought them in, and I went in to do an observation on them, and then I came up with a behaviour program to rehab the wolves, and they put me in the wrong kennel. And so I was in the kennel watching how they handled the wolves, and actually put a bloody bowl of meat, or they threw some meat in the kennel with me when they should have put it in the one next door to me. So I was standing in the corner with this bloody Arctic wolf and a slab of meat. It was so dangerous. I was like, oh, flip.
I bet.
It was awful. It was really scary.
It's horrible. I was
so, honestly, I was torn between, my God, this is amazing and this is really fascinating. I'm 6 foot away from the wolf, having its a rib, and being, this is really dangerous. And if I move suddenly, that wolf's going to nail me.
I wouldn't be thinking, oh, this is amazing. I'd be thinking, this is horrific. What on earth? What am I doing with my life?
It was, but yeah, but it was when we did, when I did the kinesiology on the wolves as well, and I had one stuck in my jaw. That was
stuck in your jaw.
Oh God, yeah.
It's been stuck in your jaw.
It was Turak, when Turak was when he was an adolescent. We went up. I did some kinesiology on Alaba, which was the alpha European wolf there back in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And because he'd fractured C2, he'd fractured the second cervical vertebrae in his neck. And I went through and I did some kinesiology on him. We went through to do a second balance on him, and he didn't want to be caught. So John said, "Oh, come on, as a treat, I'll take you in with the adolescents," which was Turak, Mia, and another one, I can't remember the name. So we went in, and Turak jumped up on me, and he put his paws. It was amazing. He put paws there, and he sucked my jaw. He just, do you know how they get hold of? So he got hold of my jaw basically, and the two females got hold of Kenny's hands, which was really dangerous. They had a hand in each of their mouths, which was seriously
quite
dangerous.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because John said to me, "You just, it's an automatic response." So one of them, I think it was Mia, came running over and jumped up on me, and it was an automatic response. I just pushed her off. And he said, if they want to jump up, let them jump up. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we went over to the benches, and as I say, Turak, it was amazing. I mean, it was just, it was dangerous, but it was amazing having like I think it was 18-month, 19-month European wolf just holding your jaw. It's like, wow. It was awesome.
Yeah, they're big, aren't they?
They're huge. Scary.
I went to the other wolf place. I can't remember what that was called. I think they only had 2 or 3 European wolves, youngsters.
Was that where, what's his name? Peter, Ellis, Sean Ellis was?
No, another bloke I won't say his name. It was in Cambridgeshire.
Oh, I'm curious now. I didn't know about that. Come on, and you'll have to tell me the name afterwards.
I'll tell you later. But no, I went there and one of them started humping me. I had to carefully back out of the enclosure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's not very cool, is it? There's a very fine line between that and aggression, you know what I mean? And sort of ritualized stuff. So luckily, I managed to back out of the thing and get out of there.
That is really, I mean, I think I'd rather have one jump up and do like a ritual greeting by taking my jaw than grab hold of me and start mounting me, because that's one step away from like complete dominance and aggression, isn't it, with them?
Yeah, I would think. But yeah, got out of that. That was fine. But no, I like watching them. I don't need to touch them. I remember when we went to that place you were talking about for a day, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to come and touch the wolf?"
No.
I did, but I just thought, not really. What's the point? Not really. Not keen on touching people's dogs, let alone. Well, it's nice to watch them, isn't it? Interacting. That's kind of where the enjoyment is, not touching it.
Although I was really honoured when Alba let me touch him. Like when I did kinesiology on him and I was like working my way down his spine, but it wasn't the fact that I was touching a wolf, it was the fact like, my God, this dog's skeleton is phenomenal compared with this wolf skeleton compared with the dog skeleton. Do you know what I mean? It was just to feel the difference in the bones. Do you know what I mean? And
they're amazing, aren't
they? It was the sheer depth of the bone and everything is just unbelievable.
No, they are very amazing to watch.
Gorgeous on that. You understand why they were revered.
Yeah, they're quite quite a fascinating species, really, aren't they? Yeah, they are. There you go, behaviour consults with wolves. Blimey.
And then they morphed into dogs. Eventually.
Yeah, we still see some of the wolf, don't we?
Yes. And what about the wolf dogs you've seen? Because I haven't worked with a wolf dog.
I haven't really seen many. I saw that one on that boat.
How was that? How did that compare with like with huskies and other dogs?
To be honest, not a lot different, really. So that sort of, I suppose, that kind of aloofness of like the Nordic breeds, you know what I mean? Like the husky and all that sort of aloofness was there. But no, it was quite dog-like. So, that was fine. But we've got two wolf dogs that walk in the park in the morning. Really? They're big. Yeah, much bigger than sort of your average German Shepherd.
How do they differ from the Northern Inuits? Because I've not worked with a wolf dog, but I've worked with Northern Inuits before, which are huge.
I don't know. I can't remember. There are these dogs in the park. They are Czechoslovakian wolf dogs, I think. There's a few, aren't there? There's a few different types of wolf dog. I don't know where this woman got them from or what really, but.
So they're just, because I'm really fast. So are their jaws like more wolf-like than dog-like?
Yeah, they are. And I've had a long time ago, this woman's e-collar trained these dogs now because they're very under control, which they have to be.
I remember you talking about them.
Yeah. She's e-collar trained them, so they're very well behaved, very well kind of under control now. But prior to that, they weren't, and they would run at you and they were, yeah, very big at the time, sort of juveniles. And but when you handle, because I used to get hold of the male, because I've got male dogs that wouldn't like him jumping all over him like he was. It was very, very wolf-like. You know that play, that very over the top, rough, in your mouth, licking. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like real, like wolf-like. And he would do. Well, they would both do that. The dog and the bitch would come over and do that. But I used to get hold of the male and like take it back to the owner. And yeah, very big, strong dogs, and yeah, very wolf-like in their behaviour. But now they've kind of matured. You don't see so much of that deferential stuff. It's kind of moved the other way now, where they're more,
Okay, so the more aloof, head up.
yeah, more aloof, more kind of posturing. They look at you because, like I said, because they're collar trained, they stand and look at you from a distance,
Uh-huh.
which is quite. If you didn't know that she had control of
Control.
them, you would you'd think this isn't very cool. But yeah, they stand and look at you, and they are very big, intimidating animals
Yeah.
because they've got that kind of confidence as well that the wolves might not have, or certainly wild wolves wouldn't have.
Well, wolves don't have. That's really interesting. I know
I don't know what they like to live with. It'd be quite fascinating, wouldn't it, to go and
it'd be really fast because I can remember they did an experiment, didn't they, years ago with the wolf puppies, and they had the wolf puppies in the house because they wanted to see how they differed from. And so instead of when they took the wolves into captivity, they put them into somebody's house, and it's 6 weeks of absolutely destroying everything and biting everybody, and it was just a disaster from beginning to end, really, wasn't it?
Well, they have a lot of incidents, or they used to have a lot of incidents in the States, didn't they, with wolf hybrids, where they were mixing like a German Shepherd with a wolf, and you know, typically during
Or a guarding breed with a wolf.
yeah, and then they were having lots of dog attack, you know, fatal, with particularly involving children, because you had that confident element of a wild animal, didn't you?
Yeah. Wow.
And
Scary stuff. So what's the scariest breed you've worked with? Do you think?
Have you got an answer to that question while I think about it or not?
Scariest breed I've worked with?
Let me think.
Oh God. I should have had an answer to that before I asked the question, shouldn't I? I haven't got an answer for you.
You've dumbfounded both of us.
That's the power of a good question. Oh my God, what's the scariest breed I've worked with? Ooh. I don't know. I think the scariest dog that I've worked with was a Labrador.
Yeah.
Although the Chesapeake Bay was a close thing.
Chesapeake Bay, they can be little devils, can't they?
That was my first behaviour consult in the UK. Blooming thing tried grabbing the back of my head.
Yes.
But I couldn't see it. I mean, I couldn't see it. If it was coming to my face, it would probably be more scary. But because I couldn't see it, I was just trying to keep it off my head.
Yeah.
But I think Pebble's probably the Labrador because it got hold of a Kong, and I didn't know it was possessive, aggressive as well. And it got hold of a Kong and it mantled it. And it was rage, you know, and the eyes go red, don't they? All the blood vessels pop. And it had these like pale brown eyes and bright red blood vessels all around it, and it was drooling and it was baring its teeth and it was doing that, you know, its tongue, like wolves do with the tongue sticking out between its teeth.
That's a nice face, isn't it? That's a face you don't want to see.
That's the face you do not want to see, and all I had on it was a slip lead. All that was between me and the dog was a slip lead.
Yeah. No.
I think that was the scariest one, but I don't know. I don't know what the scariest like overall breed is. Just that dog.
I don't think I've got a breed. I think I've had incident, you know, like probably the scariest would have been that Spaniel and a German Shepherd. German Shepherd a long time ago, big male Shepherd that was really quite hardcore. Client.
Keep going.
You don't know it, will you?
No. Just keep going because I don't remember you talking about this hardcore German
Oh, I
Shepherd.
probably haven't. Might not have done. It wasn't long after I'd been attacked, actually, by that German Shepherd that we've spoken about before.
Uh-huh.
And then this client came in with a big male shepherd that was really intense. So yeah, that's probably he tried to bite me. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's a long story, but yeah, it's
I
that
think
one.
German Shepherds are probably the ones that I'm most wary of
Yeah,
because when I was a kinesiologist, I had one. It was left slabber on my face, put it that way.
yes,
And I can remember when you had Vico and he got me confident with German Shepherds again. Do you remember?
yeah. I remember you said afterwards. Yeah,
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 gorgeous Vico, kind of. Because before that, I always used to go, okay, when they came too close to me, I could almost feel myself closing my eyes and waiting for the bite, because this
Tensing
German
up.
Shepherd just literally left slaver down my face. I just got my face out of the way in time.
Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
horrible. I've done some stupid things. Like I did, I remember I went to see a Rottweiler, big male Rottweiler, that had been aggressive to a visitor in the house.
Mhm.
And I disc trained the dog, training discs.
Mhm.
I bent down in front of this great big male Rottweiler and disc trained it. And when I left the house afterwards, I thought, what a stupid, stupid thing to do that. Just to kneel on the floor in front of this dog.
Oh my God, you were kneeling on the floor.
Yeah, knelt on the floor with this Rottweiler and it went absolutely fine. But afterwards, when I left, I just thought this idiot,
Really
stupid,
dangerous.
stupid
Yeah,
thing to do.
I never get on the floor with them. Any dog,
No.
only puppies, only puppies.
Yeah, well, I do sometimes, but that was a stupid thing to do. I could have got the woman to do it or used a lead or all sorts of things differently.
Not on lead.
Not on a lead, no, just in the kitchen, me and the dog.
Wow. And you live
But
to tell the tale.
yeah, here we are. Yeah.
Jeez, Ross.
But you find yourself sometimes you make bad decisions, don't you? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of in the spur of the moment.
Yeah, yeah, you do. You do. And thankfully, we've been lucky enough to get away with the daft decisions I've
Hmm.
made.
Yeah, yeah, you can make some silly decisions, but then at the time, I mean, it can be quite a pressure job, can't it? Because you're there on your own mostly.
Yeah,
You're in someone's house on your own. You've got to deliver. They're asking you, they're paying you,
yeah,
sort that you've got to come up with something to deliver. And sometimes, obviously, under pressure, you'd make the wrong call.
yeah. Yeah, you do.
But
But most of the time, you make the right one. You help them
make
with the
the right
dog.
one. Yeah, make the right one. It's always good when you leave your client, isn't it? When you leave and you get back in your car and you're on your way home.
It's almost like when you've been with an aggressive dog, you get in the car and you go, "Oh, right, I've got all my bits. Phew."
Yeah, phew, let's get going. Let's get home.
Quick before they call me back.
Yeah. It is. You don't know what you're going into, do you? Really don't. It's just,
No.
but it's all good fun.
I think we'll probably put loads of people off becoming behaviourists.
Got to keep it real, Les.
Got to keep it real. And yeah, it's the important bit. It's not a glamorous job. Can be, but it's not.
Has its moments of glamour, but not a lot.
No. Especially when you're given just sit in that puddle of pee on my settee and have a cup of gravy with milk and sugar.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
And
yeah.
on that note, are you going to go and
Yeah.
get the gravy?
Maybe we should just do an advert now for the courses that we run, just in case you're considering this as a career. You might want to enroll.
Yes. Yeah, if you want to be behaviourist, give us a shout. We'll put you off.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that is it for a little while now. We're gonna come back and do a Christmas edition, aren't we?
Ooh, Christmas. You like Christmas, don't you? I don't, so that'll be
And I
fun.
love Christmas. I know it's almost Christmas.
And I'm not wearing a
Let's get
Christmas
Halloween
jumper.
out the way first.
Oh, it's Halloween, yeah. Yeah, I'm not wearing a Christmas jumper before you ask, so don't bother.
Christmas earrings? Come on, you can put Christmas. You've got your ears pierced. You could put a little,
A bauble in my ear.
yeah. Or just hang it around the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not going to, are you?
Nah.
Okay, well, have a really good break, and see you for the Christmas one, and then we'll be back for season 5.
Yeah, see you in season 5.
I know. Well, see you at Christmas, actually.
Thanks for listening. It's not just gun dogs and not just guard dogs, but all things canine, as we hope you have discovered. Please like, share and subscribe, and help us spread a bit of common sense back into dog ownership. And a review wouldn't go amiss either. Catch up with Lez and Ross again in about 14 days for more canine conversations. Until next time, stay well and enjoy your dogs. Any dog-related questions or topics, just drop an email to talk@cfba.uk or message us via facebook.com/gundogs and guard dogs podcast.